What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Jack Ramsays. Danny Marang here, and it's a special edition of Jack Ramsays. We are joined by Trailblazers big man, rookie Kong, Donovan Clingan, live from the great city of Oklahoma City. On what is this day 12 of the road trip?
Yeah, I think day 12 or 13. Yeah,
It blends together at this point.
yeah, you lose count.
All right, man. Hey, I really appreciate you taking some time. This is the longest road trip of the season for you guys, both in game volume and time on the road. This, I would imagine, is your longest road trip playing basketball.
For sure.
What's this trip kind of been like? How has it tested you? What's been your kind of overall feel from basically like the most drawn out part of an NBA season?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this road trip was pretty big for me. With DA and Rob, unfortunately getting hurt and being out, it was a big opportunity for me to step up and, just have a lot of on-court experience and, just get a lot of run, get in best shape possible. So this road trip's really been good for me. Obviously, I've had a couple of tough games, but, it's just really all a learning experience for me and just trying to take it all in and move on to the next game.
Well, we'll dive into some basketball stuff, but I got a lot of questions from Blazers fans and some very lower level, just generic stuff, just getting to know you. And that's one of the things we love doing these shows for is when young guys come to the team, everybody sees how you play. The Trailblazers social media team and Fernando and those guys do an incredible job with cutting everything together. You guys on the road, Ant announcing to the team on the plane that two gets named Defensive Player of the Month. But getting to know you guys, it takes a little bit of time because you got to sit down and talk about other stuff. It's because it's always basketball. So
Right.
This is a weird one, I think, in a bit of a sense, but it always comes up in every batch of these. And anytime I ask a question, are you a dog or a cat guy, or are you no?
I'm a dog guy for sure.
Okay.
For sure,
Okay.
a dog guy.
Is that kind of like Yukon Husky, just kind of going down that canine route?
Yeah, I mean, I had a dog in middle school, a little bit in elementary school, and then through high school. Dogs are the best thing ever. So
You look
dog
at
guy for sure.
you looking at getting a dog to keep you company here in Portland?
For sure, yes.
Are you-
Definitely this off season.
Okay, you're a very large man. Do we get very large dogs, or do we get small
Yeah.
dogs? What are we working with?
I used to have a Rottweiler.
Okay.
But I think I'm looking at a golden retriever.
Okay, so we're going medium size. We're not going pocket purse dogs.
No,
Look, I'm not gonna hold you if that's what you like.
no,
It's just
no.
seeing
I need bigger dogs.
little teacup dog and your big giant meat hooks.
Right.
It'd be
Right.
quite the look, right?
For sure.
You're from Connecticut. You play college basketball in Connecticut. There's probably some similarities between Connecticut and Oregon as far as how things look and the pace and kind of things of that nature. What has been kind of the biggest change or thing you didn't expect culturally, food, pace of the city, just kind of what has kind of caught your eye in your first almost year here?
I feel like just the pace and life's just slower. I mean, I feel like
So it's slower here than in Connecticut.
for sure. I feel like
Okay.
East Coast, like New York, Jersey, Boston, it's just go go go, fast pace, and in Portland it's much slower drivers, and I just feel like just that's one of the biggest things I feel like is just the style of life is much slower.
Have you had to learn to have a little bit of patience in that left lane?
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
Another one that pops up all the time. Have you popped up with any good spots, like food wise, where you want to sneak away to, hit any of the tourist traps or anything that you've kind of done in your time here that you're like, yeah, no, this hits good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still trying to find some good top, food spots. But I like to fish, so there's definitely a lot of good fishing areas in Portland that I want to check out and I want to give a try.
Are we fly fishing? What are we doing here?
No, just regular. I got some waders, but I just spinning reel. Fly fishing, I don't got that much patience.
Okay, hold on. You've got some waders. Can you order those offline? You got to get them custom. What's
I
going on
actually
here?
just got them. Yeah, they're custom.
No,
I just got a
okay.
custom pair.
How hard did you have to look, or do you got a guy?
My aunt, it took her a while. She found someone that,
Found somebody who can stitch you up some?
yeah.
Okay. Now, are we talking? We go on like some trout fishing, bass. We keep it
I do a
simple.
lot. I mean,
Or,
I do trout fishing, bass fishing. I do a lot of deep sea fishing too.
I was
So,
going to say because you got you're close to the land. You like to get on the ocean and
oh
do
yeah,
some deep fishing. Okay.
oh
What's
yeah.
what's the biggest fish you've caught?
I've caught a couple tuna. I've caught like a 300-pound Goliath grouper, and then I've caught like a 9-foot dusky shark.
Okay, dusky shark. Okay, I know grouper. I know that's a big fish. Tuna can get massive. Dusky shark. I don't. Is it like just
They're
a
not like, I mean, it's just a big shark,
just a big
really.
shark?
Yeah.
Did it catch you off guard when you see it kind of popping up, or is
Yeah, I
that
mean, I didn't really think it was a shark at first, but it was.
all right? So my post game host, co-host Joe Simons. Okay, Kling Kong is your nickname that I think everybody is kind of latched onto. He
Hmm.
is asking me to present this without any sort of tampering or prejudice towards the jury here. He is trying to make block lobster a thing happen for you as a nickname. Where does that fall for you?
Um, I
It's
mean,
you're not
I've
gonna hurt
never
his
heard.
feelings. It's okay.
Yeah, it's a new one for sure. I feel like I King Kong is something that I had in college, and people just kind of started calling me here.
Do you? I mean, do you like the nickname Kling Kong?
Yeah, yeah,
That matters, right?
right,
Like,
100%.
if you get a nickname, you gotta kind of like, okay, I can go with that.
Hmm.
It's got to be something you can work with, right?
Right,
So, all right,
right.
I don't want to hurt his feelings. Like a few people in the chat here are talking about block lobster because they've watched the show. And look, man, I told my co-host, I'm like, I don't think that's it, man. It's okay. Like I respect it. Um, you talked about this road trip. We'll get into the basketball stuff. You talked about this road trip and your opportunities here with Da and Rob down. You have these opportunities and you're playing these teams that are very, very different, I think, than a lot of other teams traditionally, even in the NBA. I don't want to call it a low point. I think it's more of a learning point. You play against the Cleveland Cavaliers. You play just over 11 minutes and you get yourself in foul trouble because the Cavs are an incredibly difficult team to deal with. And that's the proposition that Evan and Jarrett kind of have, particularly Evan with how versatile he is. What has been that learning curve like to go from college where you're playing in the half court a little bit slower, you don't have an Evan Mobley or the Boston, last night
Mhm.
spreading you guys out, playing 5 out. What is that transition like, and what is that learning curve like of testing kind of where you can be effective, where you need to learn, how far out you can go, how quick you can get back, because the spacing in the NBA is so much different, not only with the 3-point line being further out, but because you have so much more shooting in the NBA and how the floor spacing kind of evolves. What has that process kind of been like for you, and how do you think you're navigating that right now?
Um, I mean, it's definitely difficult. Yeah, especially like you said, people like Evan Mobley, teams like the Celtics that really space the floor and make you move. I feel like it's the Cleveland game. It was a learning experience. A lot of you know fouls because I wasn't moving my feet quick enough getting to the spot, beating people to the spot. So I had these fouls that affected how I was playing defense, and then which ended up making me foul more. And so it's really just learning like what I got to do to stop them from scoring, but also not fouling. And sometimes for me, one of my biggest problems is I'm always trying to block the shot. And which sometimes leads to contact in the body or in the arms, and sometimes it's best for me to just wall up and try to make the shot difficult rather than trying to foul them, or you're trying to block the shot and then fouling them, and then puts me in foul trouble, puts them at the line. Sometimes it's if I just wall up at the rim, it's hard for them to make the shot in the first place. So I feel like that pace Um, you just how people spread the floor is just everything. Just I'm learning. Boston last night. I think they shot like 50 something threes, and it's just they catch the ball, they get it up. You can't really be in help defense. You just got to be, step away, and you just got to learn. You just got to be able to learn. My length and how far I can close out without getting beat. But also not letting them get the shot up. So it's all a learning experience, and every day I'm just trying to get better and better.
Now, there's kind of been this renaissance in the NFL swinging back to the running game and more physicality. And it seems to, if last year before you came to the NBA, post All-Star break, the NBA behind the scenes kind of told the refs to, hey, let's put these whistles away. Let's let these guys be a little bit more physical. It feels like that same trend has kind of happened here where not only you guys as a team, but the league in general post All-Star breaks kind of seems to have that more physical feel. Now, obviously, you guys end up with 70 free throws in the Cleveland game, and the complete opposite against Boston last night. But do you feel like the way, particularly big men, are utilized and the things that you guys are asked to do, even though even you step out and take some threes, and there's some different things that you're adding to that big men are adding to their games coming into the league and developing through their careers. Do you kind of feel like the league is kind of slightly getting back now? Obviously, after playing Boston, it's a little bit different, but getting back to playing more inside, playing more physical. Can you even feel that just in your first year from game one to post All-Star break?
Yeah, I feel like it's been a big emphasis for all teams. It's attack the paint, get in the paint, be physical around the rim, and kick out threes. I feel like a big thing that what the game is about now. And I mean, it's real physical. I mean, I feel like for us, we're really emphasizing attacking the paint. So you know, we got to be as physical as possible. And just rebounding, finishing around the rim. Just everything you got to do to come up with a bucket.
Something I wanted to ask you, just in general, there's not outside of the Jokic's and the Embiids of the NBA, the game is very different from, this is aging myself, when I was your age, the bigs that dominated the NBA. So who are the guys that you watch tape on? Not even just now. Do you go back and watch some of the older bigs? There's no real like big man camps like there were in the NBA that all the bigs would kind of go through, or go spend some money and work with Hakeem. So what is that kind of process like for you, and kind of who do you kind of look at to kind of understand what you can't do, where you can improve, who's got stuff that you can take from?
Um, I mean, I feel like now Jerry Allen in the ball screen game, the way he gets off of screens and finishes in the lob game. I mean, I love watching Jokic, Embiid, and Giannis. I feel like those are my favorite players when I was growing up, just watching those three players. And Giannis is one of the most physical guys there is in the league. When he's attacking that paint. So, I feel like those three guys really have been guys I've always watched.
Speaking of physical, yeah, you relish the physicality of the game. There was a clip. Was it last night or Cleveland? It all blends together for me now. I think you got called for a foul, and you did the Chris Paul meme. You were smiling up and down the court. You were clearly chirping a little bit at somebody. And like you smiled, and then you just stopped and kind of scowled at him. Like, yeah, that's real funny. And then just kind of kept it moving. When somebody wants to kind of bang with you, is that something you're like, okay, let's go? That's you almost look forward to that as opposed to the guy that wants to avoid you at all costs?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like as a big man, you got to be physical. I feel like you're going against 7 footers, people that weigh 250 to 285 pounds, and you got to be as physical as possible. And so I just I'm just out there trying to grab every rebound, trying to dunk everything, just trying to get better, just trying to help my team win. I feel like that's the biggest thing with me is I'm just trying to make winning plays.
On that note, from opening night until now, what's the thing you think you've improved the most on, and what is the thing that surprised you? Is gonna make you like take a little bit longer to get a firmer grasp of?
Um, I feel like it's gonna take a long time. It's just really just getting used to the closing out and guarding that 3-point line with these big men, being able to dribble and all that stuff, and just being able to close, keep the ball in front. But I feel like my ball screen defense is taking a big jump. Being able to have an impact on the ball and then be able to get back to the big man without letting the roller get behind me, and walling up at the rim without fouling. Besides Cleveland, obviously, but just really just being smart and being as tactical as possible in the ball screen game.
I'm going to ask you this not in the sense of like who's the guy you were like surprised by in the sense or in awe of, but who's the opponent that you've matched up against this year that at the end of the game you were like, that was different than I thought it was going to be. Like, whether a guy was stronger or quicker or got off the floor a little bit faster or was more physical than you thought they would be. Who's the guy that has surprised you the most, whether it be at the 5 or anywhere on the floor? Who's the kind of guy that at the end of the night you're like, I didn't think that guy was like that.
I didn't realize how strong Steven Adams was. Yeah, he's a big dude. He's strong.
So universally, I think he's kind of known as the strongest guy in the league.
Yeah.
Did you felt that, huh?
Yeah, for sure. You can't move him.
And for the record, how big are you?
I mean, I was like 7'2".
So you're basically playing at 7'3" in shoes.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're 285, 290?
Yeah, like 285, yeah.
Okay. And you're bigger than Steven Adams.
Yeah.
Is it a little bit surprising when you see a guy that's...
I mean, like his arms and shoulders are massive.
But is it a little bit of a surprise when you see... Because you're normally the biggest guy on the floor.
Yeah.
On any given night. So it's got to be a little bit of a surprise when you see somebody like that that's just that solid, right?
Mm-hmm.
That just...
Oh, yeah.
It's just a redwood that you can't move.
Yeah.
You sat down with Casey Holdall a couple days ago, talking about the ball screen game, and he stole one of my questions that I wanted to ask you, but I want to go a step further on it. You talked about your screen navigation defensively. You've got guards on your own team, and Scoot and Shea and Ant that all have, and Denny, who always wants to get downhill. You have all of these different angles that you kind of have to understand. There's a real skill to screen setting. There's great screeners, there's good screeners, and then there's guys that are okay at it. Steven Adams is really good at setting those screens basically anywhere on the floor. When you look at that stuff and when you work on that kind of thing, is it not like a psychic connection, but like an understanding, or are you like, hey, Ant, like I know you want to flare out and get to that 3. Do you want me to try to chip that guy a little bit higher, play with my shoulder a little bit higher? Like, do you have like a very like detailed discussion about it? Or is it more just feel of like where you just kind of have to feel and anticipate where a guy's trying to get to?
It's more about who you're screening for.
Mm-hmm.
8 times out of 10, when you're screening for Ant, they're going to blitz a ball screen. So you really can't hold the ball screen. You got to get out of it and be ready for a short roll pass. When you're playing Shaden, they're going to be going over. Sometimes they blitz, sometimes they don't. But so you really got to hold that screen to get the guard off him. He likes to snake it, get to that mid range game. Scoot, a lot of people with Scoot's speed and his strength and power to get downhill. I feel like everyone is looking to go under on the ball screen, so you really got to get the best angle possible. And it's really like I just try to see it as aiming for their back pocket. You want to. Every time you set a screen, aim for their back pocket. It's hard for them to get under that and force guys to over screen, because when Scoot gets people on his back hip attacking down at the big, it's he's hard to stop. And Denny is with his size and the way he finishes around the rim. If you could just get the defender an inch or 2 off of him, and Denny's very, very effective in that ball screen game.
What's been different about the college screen game as opposed to the NBA screen game? It feels like you've got to rescreen a lot more, change your angles. Like you said, depending on who you're working with on a given night and how defense are covering. Like when you go into a game, depending on matchups, are you looking at the opponent and how they're going to cover it and how you might change some things up? Or are you still trying to work more on let's solidify this relationship more than anything else and adjust as we need?
Yeah, I mean it's all the relationship, just knowing who you're screening for. But a lot of these guys are so quick; they're hard to screen. I mean, Darren Fox to me is one of the hardest guys that I've had to screen. The way that he jumps into the ball and pressures the ball right before the screen's being set. So it's really all about just being physical, the timing. Guard setting up the guy, and then also me making contact and screening.
Were you a guy in college where you watched a lot of NBA basketball still, or was it just hard to kind of be in the flow of it?
I watched a little bit. I was so locked in on my season that didn't watch too much.
I say that to kind of prep this question. How quickly can you learn NBA personnel as the season progresses and kind of understand tendencies, particularly in your rookie years? You're trying to absorb everything else.
I think we're playing teams in the West 4 times, so you learn that. You learn those teams more quick. We play Minnesota back to back. We play Denver back to back. When you play these teams multiple times a year, you learn the personnel. With these East Coast teams, you just watch a little bit more film, and and I feel like a lot of these guys, what they do. You just learn over time what they like to do, their moves, how they score, how they defend, whatever it is that they love to do. You just learn that over time.
Have you gotten any feedback or advice from opponents after games that you've kind of taken to heart? And whether it's a guy like Steven Adams who's been around forever, or another young big that gave you some encouragement or offered you some kind of feedback that's kind of stuck with you so far?
Yeah, I feel like DeAndre Jordan, he talked to me and was telling me I got to talk more on my ball screens. I feel like that was something that stood out to me, and something that really helped me, because now I try to communicate as much as possible.
You got 20 games left this season, which seems crazy as fast as the season has gone by. What do you hope to accomplish between now and the end of the season?
Just trying to get in the best shape possible. Just trying to keep getting better and better every day. Try to fight and win every game here on out, and make a push for playing, and really just try to learn. I'm trying to have a long career, trying to do a lot of good things. So really just try to learn every day and get better.
I know it's one of those things where you don't want to look to the off season because you guys are still playing, but let's fast forward to the off season, and you're going to go work on what are the 3 things that you're going to focus on, or you want to focus on in the off season to come back into next year?
My body, my shot, and I feel like my physicality and touch, and rebounding around the rim, my finishing. So 3 things that I definitely want to expand on.
I want to get into the micro of that, and we'll get you out of here pretty quick, so I know you got to go to dinner. So, talking about working on finishing, how do you work on those micro skills to where it translates to the game? Like, what do those things look like for you?
Just all different. Working on different footwork, working on finishing high, different distances, softer touch. Just step throughs, pump fakes, both hands off the glass, different angles. Really just try to think of every situation possible that might happen in a game, and try to translate it to the workouts.
All right, man. We're gonna get you out of here on that. I appreciate you giving us some time.
Thank you.
Good luck tomorrow. I know that's going to present another unique challenge on this road trip. Another team that's a pretty heavy driving kick team. We'll see you back in Portland for at least one day before you get back out. DC, go enjoy your dinner. I really appreciate you jumping on, and I'll see you in a couple days.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate you for having me.
All right, anytime. Hey, everybody, thank you all for being here. We appreciate you. Take care. Have a great night.